So you're looking for a timepiece that won't break the bank, but what if I told you you could get a Swiss-made watch with a high beat, Swiss movement inside, a sapphire crystal, and solid bracelet for less than $300? Well, today, I'll be reviewing one piece that I think fits this bill very nicely. Stay tuned. Hello internet friends, and welcome to the Quality Time channel. I'm your host Lester, and here at the Quality Time channel we are looking for affordable watches that are of course high in quality. That's what our mission is, and that's what I hope to do on this channel for you guys. And today I have, I think, a really great piece to kick things off, and this is our inaugural watch review, and so I thought I would bring a real cracker for you guys. Before we get into it, let's do our customary wristwatch check. Today, of course, this channel is all about high quality watches that are also affordable, and I'm wearing today none other than the Casio F91W, a fantastic little wristwatch, digital of course, by a well-known manufacturer. This has got to be one of the, if not the highest selling wristwatches in the entire world, and can be had for an extremely low price. You can get it for like 10 bucks. It is a great piece. Anyway, let's get right into it. Today I have for you guys the Certina DS Podium Automatic. So how did I come across this watch? Well, I was browsing Joma Shop, as one does when they are pretending to do work, and I've heard of Certina, but I've never actually owned any watches from Certina. And so when I was browsing, this one pretty much just caught my eye, and after looking at the specs and what it offered, and of course this gorgeous gray sunburst dial, I knew I had to bring it in to take a look at it. Anyway, for those who are not familiar with Certina, Certina is a Swiss brand founded in 1888. It started in the Swiss town of Grenchen. It started, actually, it wasn't called Certina, it was called Grana, which is short for Granicus, which is a Latin name of Grenchen. And in 1930, they decided to change the name Certina simply because it was just easier to pronounce. And Certina is based on the Latin certus, which means sure. I suppose they're going for a more, reliability sort of brand image. And their mascot, is funnily enough, is a turtle, and the turtle is the personal symbol of Certina, and can be found on just about on all of Certina watches, and really represents both robustness and longevity, which I suppose makes sense. Now, this particular watch is part of their DS series, and what DS stands for is double security. And what that means is that the watch is secure from shock, magnetism, and also water. So you're getting a very robust piece when you buy one of their DS watches. Okay, so the exact SKU for this particular piece is C0014071108700, and of course I'm going to put it on the screen for you guys. This particular version is an older model, actually, of the DS Podium Automatic, without the new Powermatic 80 movement inside, and I'm going to go over why I chose this particular version over the newer version. I think this one better suits my what I look for in a watch. Anyway, you can see that the watch is a sports watch. Okay, the case material is completely polished stainless steel. There are no other finishings that I could see on the case. You get a case size of a nice compact 38 millimeters. Okay, a case thickness of only 11 millimeters, which is really, really nice. A lug to lug of 45.8 millimeters, and a lug width, a nice standard 20 millimeter lugs. And size for my dainty 6 1/4 inch wrists, we're looking at a weight of 117 grams. The bezel is a steel bezel, of course fixed. It's not a dive watch. The crown is a push-pull crown. It is signed, but it is not a screw-down crown. It's got the DS there, of course, for the DS series. The crystal is a flat sapphire crystal, okay, without any air coating on this one. Now on the front of the watch, of course, is that gray sunburst dial. What's really nice about this, beside the sunburst effect, I'm sure you can see it on the camera, is the very fine concentric rings on the outside where the indices lie. I think that's a really nice touch and gives us some really a lot of visual interest. What's really nice also is the how it kind of the date, it's kind of integrating the date window here with that design, so I think that's a pretty nice touch. Now this particular watch not only comes in gray, but there is a black version and there is a white version as well. I will put those up on the screen for you guys to take a look at. And I didn't pick those two simply because I already have several white-faced and black-faced watches. So I kind of wanted to mix that up a bit. And also I think that this gray version is personally the best looking of the three. Now taking a closer look at the dial, let's take a look at the hands. The hands are sword hands for the hour and minute hands, and you've got an all-white seconds hand going around. Okay. For the indices, they're all applied, and you've got Arabics at the 12, 9, and 3. The other hour hands are spear markers. Okay, and instead of a 6. You've got the date window at the 6, which again is really nicely integrated with that white frame in the design. I quite like that. Around the very outer edge, you've got the white printed minute track. For the lume, it is super luminova and it glows blue. Of course, I will pop up a lume shot for you guys to take a look at. And you get a nice display back case so you can see the movement whirring inside. You get 100 meter water resistance with this particular piece. So it's 10 bars. And so that makes it a great candidate for daily wear. I think in 100 meters is just perfect, so that you don't need to worry about getting it wet. The movement inside is actually an ETA caliber 2824-2. It's got hacking and hand winding, so you can just go ahead. It's not a screw-down crown, so just go ahead. If I just go like this, it will wind the watch. Okay, if I pull it out to the first position, if I can with these gloves. Oh, I've pulled it all the way, but if you pull it all the way, you can see this second hand stops and hacks. So you can go ahead and just change that time. Okay. Okay, if I pull out to the first position, I can go ahead and change that date simply by rotating forward like there. All right. Now what's nice about this particular movement, aside being a Swiss movement, is that it is a high beat movement, which means it is vibrating at 20,800 beats per hour. It's a 25 joules, and it's got some nice decoration in the back actually. It's got a stamped, signed rotor, Certina, you can see that right there. And I'll also pop up macro shots, you can see it a little bit closer. And you've got a power reserve of 38 hours. Now for the band, you've got an all stainless steel bracelet. You've got a polished center links with a brushed outer links, so it's a 3-link bracelet, of course. They are solid links, which is really nice. You've also got solid end links, okay? And for the clasp itself, it's a signed clasp, fishing clasp with a folder for security. This operates real nice like there. You can see it's fully milled. And this is quite nicely done. And you've got also 3 micro adjusts on the clasp itself. As for the warranty, you get a 2-year warranty from Joma Shop. So that's pretty nice. Now, after popping it on the time grapher, I roughly got plus 7 seconds a day on this piece, which is really good, with a 0.4 millisecond beat error, which is pretty reasonable. So I think that I got a pretty really solid movement with this particular watch. All right, so what do I like about this particular watch? Well, I think there's a lot to like here. First of all, it's like incredible gray sunburst dial. I think that's really well done. It's not just flat, you know, you've got a lot of visual interest with those rings on the outside, and a nice date cutout that's integrated into the design itself. So I think that it's really well done. Of course, that nice Swiss made back down at the bottom is a big plus for this particular watch. You've got the all applied indices with Superluminova, so you've got some pretty decent lume on this particular watch. And I love how the date window again is at the 6, and it gives it a really nice symmetry. That's my preferred location for a date window. One of the things I also like about this watch is the high beat movement. Now, this is one of the reasons why I picked this model over the newer Powermatic 80. While you do lose an 80-hour power reserve with the Powermatic 80, you do gain the high beat 4 Hz movement. And so you can see a very nice, smooth, sweeping second hand. And I think that that is a worthy trade-off. Although, you know, if you're like me and you have a lot of watches and you're switching in and out, you know, having a slightly longer power reserve isn't that big a deal. I think it's better if you have a lot of watches in your collection to have that high beat movement when you can, because I just think it looks great. Okay. Also, you're getting a sapphire crystal. Of course, there's no AR coating on the crystal, but it is sapphire, which means that, you know, it's going to last you a long time without scuffing and scratching. You also got 100 meters water resistance, so this is a great candidate for everyday wear. It really gives you that peace of mind. You don't need to worry about getting it wet, or if you get caught in the rain, or at 100 meters, you'd even hop in the pool with no problem. Another thing I appreciate about this watch is the fact that the dimensions are spot on. You've got, again, a 38 millimeter case, and you've got nice regular 20 millimeter lug width, which means that this can be popped on a larger variety of straps. You don't have that strange, you know, 19 millimeter or 21 millimeter lug width, and which really limits your strap options. I don't know why they do that, but you know, looking at in this price range, I've seen other watches, some Tissot's for example, which has that 19 millimeter lug width, and that's sort of disappointing. But this one has some really nice proportions. I think that's a really good thing. Now you're getting again, a very solid bracelet with this, so solid links and solid end links with this piece. Okay, and you've got that. One thing I like about the case itself is that rugged lug shape. It's really sporty looking, and of course I'm going to pop this on my wrist in a minute so you can take a look at what that is. But also being a sport watch is also quite thin. At 11 millimeters, it's going to fit under a shirt cuff pretty easily, so it could really be, you know, your all day everyday piece. I mean, you can, you know, wear it to work, wear on the, you know, change out the strap maybe to rubber or something, wear on the weekend. It's a really versatile piece. You also are getting this display case back, okay? So you can see the ADED movement running inside, and I think that's a great addition. Of course, display case back does add a little bit of thickness, but at 11 millimeters, I don't think that's really a big deal. It's really nice to have, especially if this is your entry into the world of Swiss-made watches. And again, the last point I would say is that because it is a Swiss-made watch, I mean, you're getting that quality at an incredible price. I mean, under $300. I think that's a really good deal. So what don't I like about this watch? Well, actually, there's not that much. I think that there's definitely no deal breakers that I could see about this piece. But of course, as a watch reviewer, I guess I need to go over some of these things. I guess one of the things I didn't, what I think that could be improved is the lume. Again, it's not a dive watch. The indices and the numerals are quite thin, and so you can't really put too much, you don't have that much surface area to put lume on, which means that of course it's not going to be as strong as some of your dive watch options. But I think that for a piece like this, it's totally adequate. Another thing that is that the second hand is not lumed, so when you are looking at it in the dark, you can't see it going around really. So I wish they put a little bit of lume on there, but there you go. It's you know, it's just a little bit of a trade-off, I suppose. Also, that no AR coating makes it, in some situations, you get a little bit of glare there, but at this price, I mean, I'm not really that, disappointed about that. One other thing I found about this piece is, while the bracelet is very solid feeling, the clasp itself is actually a pressed clasp. Don't know if you can see that here, but it's not milled. It's kind of thin, and so I guess this is where corners were cut to hit that sub $300 price point. But it's not a huge deal, but of course it doesn't match the solidity of the rest of the bracelet. And of course you don't have a screw down crown with this particular piece, although you do have 100 meters water resistance, so they managed to do it without a screw down crown, which is great. One other thing is that the bracelet, while being solid, is also not screw links. They are push pins, okay, which is not a big deal. Of course, once you set it, I mean, you don't need to worry about it, but of course screw links would have been much easier to do overall than the push pins. But again, once you set it, you can just forget about it. And I guess finally you have what I would say, uninspired case finishing. It is just a completely polished affair. There's not really any other surfaces that I could see on this particular watch. So it's not the most, I guess, interesting, although I do like the shape. The shape is quite nice. And again, here it is on my wrist. I'll do a little wrist roll for you guys. A little outside shot so you can see what that looks like on the wrist. So one of my conclusions about the Certina DS Podium Automatic, well, I think if you've gone to this point and you've listened to the whole review, I think this is just incredible value for money. I mean, for under $300, you're getting tremendous amount of watch for with very minor downsides. I would say it's I would say it's almost a perfect, Swiss-made all-day, everyday watch. I mean, it's just it's just so versatile. You've got the incredible movement inside, and all of this for under $300 on Jomar Shop. And in fact, if you go over there right now, I believe they have the non-braceleted version for even lower. Now, don't quote me on that. I don't know when you're watching this video, but when I saw on Jomar Shop, they've got the non-braceleted version for even under $250, which is just incredible. So I think that this is a real winner. If you're looking for an all-day, everyday wear piece for under $300, you want it Swiss-made, you want it automatic, you want it something that is versatile and robust, this is a fantastic candidate. So there you go. This is my review of the Certina DS Podium Automatic. And if you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching the entire review. Really means a lot to me, and this is our very first review on the channel, so I'm a little bit nervous about everything. I hope that as time goes on and we're able to do more reviews, that I can make things a bit smoother. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope please let me know what you think about the review in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you guys think about this particular watch. And we are going to be reviewing more cool watches on the channel, so be sure to like and subscribe so you can be notified of when those new reviews come out. Anyway, that's the video. My name is Lester, and thank you for spending some quality time with me. Take care now.